could you tell us what it is about dyslexia as a subject matter that inspired you to make this movie?
It's a personal, it's a personal motivation. My wife and I discovered that our son was dyslexic when he was 9 years old. And up until that time, there was a lot of confusion and anxiety about why he was struggling so much in school. And we didn't understand it. He was making quite an effort, but getting little results, and it was dispiriting, to say the least. And then once we had the diagnosis, a lot of the confusion and anxiety went away because we understood what it was, which was a neurological issue that meant that he learned differently. But that didn't mean that he was intellectually inferior or that, you know, there was any reason why he couldn't pursue his own dreams. But he did have to go through the school system. He did have to go through all the way, as he is now just finishing up. And along that way, we encountered a lot of misconceptions and myths. Sometimes teachers didn't really believe in it. They thought that dyslexia was another word for being stupid or lazy. The political PC phrase to cover otherwise unappealing qualities in children. And it was really frustrating. And you know, you'd have to remind yourself that it's not the teacher's fault if they don't understand. They haven't been taught. They haven't been trained to see it. Or why would you expect them to understand something that they haven't been prepared to understand? So the film for me was a chance to address something hopefully that could get out there and get into the educational community and beyond that, just the general public, so that, you know, when someone encounters someone who seems to have poor spelling, or sometimes takes a while to say something, or you know, messy handwriting, or has trouble reading a paper out loud or something like that, that you don't automatically say, oh, you know, what's up with this person? You say, I wonder if he's dyslexic. And, you know, if the idea is that to get people to understand, oh, that's just a different stripe. That's all it is. You know, it's not lesser than or more than. It's just a different way of learning. So that's the goal of the film. That's why we made it.
Fantastic. How important is cinema as a way of helping the broader public understand about such themes and ideas?
The cinema is here to stay. It is a very, very powerful medium. When the way we take in so much from sound and imagery, and nonverbal communication is something we were doing long before the printing press was invented. And it's an essential way for us to communicate and connect as human beings. So we know that's true when we all go see a movie and the whole audience, you know, roars with laughter or shrieks in terror or cries because of a dramatic moment. It's a very, very powerful medium, and a medium that can be shared by so many people. Why would you not embrace that medium to help people understand the world? Why would you not use it to create a deeper or better understanding of problems we face? It just seems such a no-brainer that cinema should be accepted for what it is, which is a very, very powerful and potentially, well, it's, let's just put it this way. Movies started out being dime store entertainment. You know, it was an escape for the masses. But here we are a century later, moving into a century of film, and we've come to understand that it's a great way to make the world a better place. And that behind a lot of great movements that are making progress, whether it's social injustices or environmental issues, you can see films playing a role in there. So we should all welcome and embrace cinema as just an essential part of trying to make the world a better place.
Now, given that your father is one of the most renowned actors of all time, how important is it for you to find, don't tell him we said that. How important is it for you to find your own voice in the cinematic field?
Oh boy, I'll tell you. This comparative question, or this issue of how I deal with being a Redford it's really interesting, because it's never been something that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. I just sort of do what I do. I'm always so puzzled that it's so fascinating to other people. You know, the public is fascinated. Like, how do you But I just wake up every morning worrying about what it is I want to get done and go to bed at night hopefully feeling good about what I did do. And the rest is sort of outside. And a lot of that can be attributed to my family and my parents. And they had a real perspective on celebrity. I grew up seeing the pros and cons of it. I have no illusions that there's a price to pay behind every person that ends up a celebrity. So for me, you know, all I know is that I'm driven to tell stories and play my guitar, and that's what I do. Everything else comes second.
Fantastic. You spent a lot of time with the specific individuals in this title. Did you grow attached to any, and have you kept in touch?
I have indeed kept in touch. The kids are all, I'm happy to say that the kids in this film have all continued to evolve and learn and grow in such wonderful ways. Sebastian, young boy from Connecticut, the ski racer, now lives in New York City. He's attending a very, very challenging high school and doing well there. Sky is now a high schooler. They're all growing up pretty fast, and she's doing very well. My son is, you know, pursuing his passions passionately. Can't ask for any more than that. And Allison Swartz, the grad student, is now, you know, pursuing her PhD. Everybody's moving ahead in a positive way. It's been a wonderful thing to see, and how could I not stay in touch? They're just great kids. It's always great to see them when I can.
That's great. Now, for the final question, can you tell us anything about your next project, Toxic Hot Seat?
American upholstered furniture has chemical flame retardants in it, and they're supposed to protect us from the dangers of fire. But all the research shows that they don't provide any meaningful protection from flame, but they do present some very serious health risks. So if you see that and it seems to stare you in the face, the question is, well, why is it there? When you ask these questions about chemical flame retardants in our furniture, the answer will lead you to the power of the chemical lobby in making sure that they're not regulated, how easy it is to get politicians to do what you want them to if you're a lobbyist, how the emerging online sort of PR campaigns that are well funded by industry can be constructed to look like normal everyday citizens groups when in fact they're not. Scientific research can be skewed so the public thinks it's something that it isn't. We have essentially an out-of-control system in America around the dangers of chemicals in our house, and no one's minding the store. No one's minding the store. So the film really takes a look at that and explores really what's going on. But ultimately, I would say the film's a celebration of good journalism and good citizenry, and you know, a few politicians that are willing to stand up and do the right thing. Because ultimately, the story has a hopeful ending, because you see that there's still room for people to stand up and fight to get a positive result, which we did capture in the film. That's on HBO, airing on November 25th in the States.
Sounds like a hell of a movie.
Yeah, it's a humdinger.